All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the end of our series for this year for support and connections, person-centered practices during COVID-19. I wanted to thank our partners in this, Parent to Parent. Cinda Green is helping us out today, keeping us with all our technology going. She's also a transition coordinator at Parent to Parent. My name is Jeff Garrison Tate, and I'm a project director at the Center for Disability Studies at the University of Texas at Austin. And we're also very appreciative of the funding for this project from Money Follows the Person funding. So in a minute, I'm going to introduce our speaker, but I'll let Cindy go over a couple of housekeeping things.
Great, thank you, Jeff. So we will be utilizing, we ask that everybody please keep your phone on mute so that there's no background interference for the speaker. We're going to be utilizing the chat box today. So if you have questions or comments throughout the presentation, please throw them in there and we will try to answer any questions and share any comments to Shelby throughout the meeting. I will be putting resources in the chat box. So I will put a resource to a blank one-page document, a blank medical passport, and just a sample one-page profile. So watch your chat box. I will be sharing those resources. We also wanted to, when we were looking at registration, we realized that we had some people that were coming back from the first session with Shelby, but we also had more even new people that had registered. So Shelby is going to basically do a redo of her presentation from Monday. But those of you that joined us on her Monday session, we'd like to know if you have set up a one-page profile for yourself or somebody that you work with or care for. If you have, we would love for you to share it with us. We did this yesterday, and what we realized is by seeing other people's page profiles, it really kind of sparked some conversations and other people thinking about, oh, I should have added that to the one-page profile. So if you have a one-page profile that you would like to share, I'm going to put my email in the chat box. And if you will please email it to me at the end of the presentation, Shelby is going to leave some time for us to look at other people's one-page profile if you're willing to share. So we hope you'll share it with us. With that, thank you everybody for being here. And Jeff, I'll turn it right back over to you.
Yes, thank you, Cinda. Again, if you do have a one-pager, please let us see it so we can all learn from each other. Also, you may have questions for Shelby. We hope you do as this goes through, and we should have time to take a couple of those questions. So please, as Shelby goes through her presentation, send us a question in chat, and we will do our best to respond to that. So I have the honor of introducing Shelby Davenport to you today. Shelby is a People Planning Together peer-to-peer trainer, one of the first in Texas. Although all are welcome to the presentation today, she really wants to reach out to other people labeled with intellectual and developmental disabilities. People with IDD can be at great risk of getting COVID-19 because some people live in large care facilities, making it harder for them to follow safety rules. Shelby is a 24-year-old young woman who's been given the gift of being told no. During her junior year in high school, her counselor told her that she was not college material and that she'd never make it if she followed that path. That kept her from being able to take dual courses and caused her to take a deep look within herself. So I'm gonna end with that because Shelby's got her own story to pick up. And again, welcome everyone. We're glad you're here. And Shelby, take it away. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeff and Cinda. And welcome everyone. Welcome back and welcome new faces. I love seeing new people too. So let's begin. Once again, I'm Shelby Davenport. I'm your speaker for today, and a little bit of background on me. I grew up in a small town with only 400 people. So there was really nothing to do except go to school. There was no outside activity or anything. So due to me having a disability, it was really hard to be accepted because I couldn't do sports. I do have a physical disability that limits me on being able to play sports. And although I love sports, I just couldn't play them. So that made it hard for me, but I was the manager for all the sports in our hometown, so that was good too. Through my high school years, that was really tough. I got made fun of a lot in high school for being so-called different. And I knew that I was different than most, but I'm like, God made me different. He made me unique, made me special. I'm just gonna be me. But I'm not gonna lie to you and say that didn't hurt me, because it really hurt me and cut deep. And one thing that really hurt me is, as Jeff mentioned, my junior year in the counselor's office. I was expecting to take dual credit classes. I wanted to go to Texas A&M all my life, and then being told no by the counselor. That really hurt my heart, because everything I've worked for and I dreamed about was not gonna come true. Because once she said it, I believed it. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take them. I'm not gonna get into college. I guess this is the life for me. So I went on through high school thinking about what she said, and I had lots and lots of talks with my mom and said, well, you know, college is really something that I want to do. And Mom said, well, Shelby, if you want to do it, you need to do it. You need to do what you want. So I found, well, I didn't find, but my transition counselor in high school, he found the PASS program. It's a one-year certification program at Texas A&M for people with intellectual disabilities. So I went through it, and oh my gosh, that changed my life. That's where I learned my self-advocacy skills, my communication skills, living independently. And so I went through that, but that wasn't college. And so I was like, okay, what's the next step? I am ready for college. So I went to Blinn College. It's a two-year college, and I got through with my basics. Then it was time to apply for Texas A&M, my dream college. And I applied, and I got in. As soon as possible, I got in. And so I went there, and I got a degree in university studies.
Please.
And I recently graduated in May of 2020, during COVID, of all things. And even though graduating was a dream of mine, COVID really punched a hole in that. Because although I still got to graduate, I still got my diploma, I didn't get to walk across stage with all my friends I've made in college. So that really hurt. And then I got a job right after I graduated. And so I packed my things. I moved to Austin. I got my own apartment. I started the job. And then 5 days later, they told me I didn't have the capabilities of doing that job. and told me it was not the job for me. And so another failure in my life that really hurt me. So I had to pack everything and move back to College Station. But due to all that, I wouldn't be here speaking to you guys today. So I'm grateful for all my failures in life, and it's made me a better person. So that's just a little bit of my background knowledge. Let's dive into the presentation. So first of all, I would like to thank these people for hosting this. Jeff and Cinda are people who I love to work with, and Jeff I worked with from the very beginning. So I'm thankful for these people. So what is a one-page profile? Let's talk about it. Especially now with COVID going on, one-pagers are very, very important. It has your basic health information, which you want doctors to know, because if your loved ones can't be in there with you, you have to have this in order for people to take care of you. And also we want a focused one-page plan. So one that really says what you love to do, really says what great things about you and how to support you. This one, it talks about what they do as staff and how they want to help you. They are very interested in wanting to make you feel comfortable, feel less anxious, but due to that, they are very busy. And so having a one-page profile will help them tremendously. Know your health information, know a little bit background knowledge of you, and know what you like to do and what makes you comfortable. So they want to be able to provide you with the best support as possible. So before developing your one-page plan, ask yourself these questions. Number one, where is the one-page profile going to be used? Number two, what do people want to learn? Or what do you want people to learn from the one page? So what do you want them to see? The last one, what do you want people to do with the learning? So how do you want them to use it? And also remember, if no one reads it, if no one uses it, it's a wasted effort. So just like my talk today, if I'm not using this knowledge and if I'm not helping you understand this knowledge, it's a wasted effort and I'm wasting your time. And I do not like to waste people's time. So this, just so you guys know, this is what I use. And I want to give you the knowledge to use it too. Right. So this is my grandmother, Mary Lou Franklin. This is her one-page response to COVID. She just recently moved in with my mom and I in September out of an assisted living. And I'm so thankful she moved with us, because it would be extremely hard if she was in there. So if Mary Lou becomes positive with COVID, she wants people to know. Let's go to the like and admire first, because that's very important, what great things are about you. She's a very compassionate person. She loves you with her whole being. She is the best prayer warrior I know. She will pray for anything. If you stub your toe, she will pray for it. She's got it down. And also her beautiful smile. With the first time you meet her, her smile will light up any room. Then also important too, and for Mary Lou, she loves having contact with her family. That is very, very important to her. Repeated assurance in answer to her questions. Yes, she's going to repeat questions, She has been doing that since she moved in with us. But Mom and I have learned that if you just reassure her and answer all her questions, then she'll move on to the next question. So that's all she really needs, and that's very important to her. Cranberry juice and crossword or word find books are very important. So this is what doctors and nurses would need to know. What will make Mary Lou happy? What can I do to support her? So let's move to the supports. Keep my cell phone near me and charged and help me call my family. So if you see I put on important too, it's very important to her to have contact with family. But to support her with that contact, she needs help calling her family. So help with her cell phone is a way to support her. And also having females help with baths and dressing is a way to support her. So this also is very important. And then who to call if we need support. And then this is a COVID-19 passport, so it will be on the very back of her one page. You have her medical information, her just basic stuff, and then you have the health conditions, medication list, allergies. Then she would check these off if she had a DNR or advance directive. Then it wouldn't fit on one slide, but this is what goes with that medical information. So it's one big page. So these are the current COVID symptoms, what she would have before, and then you would put date and time of when it started, so the nurses can get an idea of how long it lasted. And then also your risk factors. So what are you at risk of if you do get COVID? This is one of my good friends, Spencer. I helped him do a one-page response to COVID with him. He went through the PASS program with me, and he's just an energetic, caring. He's very creative. He has the best sense of humor. That smile he has in that picture is the first thing you would see when you meet Spencer. He's an amazing guy. So if he became positive with COVID, he would want you to know he's kind, he's creative, and he's a great actor. Also, things that are important to him are his family and friends. His faith is very important to him. His medication and state of mind. So Spencer too has an intellectual disability, and it's hard for him to get knowledge quickly. And don't get me wrong, Spencer is a very, very smart guy, but you just need to maybe say it simpler, maybe just tell him exactly what's happening in a way that he would know what's happening. And then different ways to support Spencer. Be kind to him, understand him. And so I've noticed when I've been with Spencer, he kind of gets this confused look on his face. And so when he has that look, he wants you to wait because he's trying to remember what you said. And also help him if he's struggling with something that he doesn't understand. And then again, he has a COVID passport that will be on the back of his one page. His information, emergency contact, everything over here. And then you got the health condition, the medication list, and his allergies. And then once again, he would check this off if he had these. then his current symptoms, check these off before he went into the hospital. So like temp over 100.4, and then the time it started and the date it started. And maybe even if you want to get deeper, even you could write how long it lasted if it's still not going on. And then also shortness of breath, nasal congestions, you would do the same things with those. Then over here you have the risk factors, so you would check these off. And Spencer, I know from talking with him that he has a medication that if is given to him, it would affect his disability, like it wouldn't be good for him. So I know he would have to check off intellectual disability. And so you can think about that. What are medications that would affect you? And then put those on there. All right, so here's my one-page response to COVID. Doing the one-page responses with my me mama and with Spencer, they were quite easy because talking with other people is what I love to do. But once you think about yourself, it's really difficult. And especially when you think about being in the hospital surrounded by strangers, I kind of had tears because I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to think about going into the hospital and not having my mom around, because my mom is who I love to do stuff with. So it was really hard for me, but I got the courage to do it. So first of all, they would see my like and admire. So I have a great compassion for others. My drive to keep going in the midst of adversity, and my love for the Lord are some great things about me, what I want nurses and doctors to talk about when they come in the room. And then what's important to me, when I thought about this, I was like, okay, what's important to me? Well, my mom's important to me. So I would say, get my mom. And then I would say, get my mom again. And then if they didn't, I would say, get my mom now. But I know that family can't always go in the hospital with you. So I would love to be able to FaceTime my mom and still have those connections with the outside. So having my phone to communicate and to FaceTime my mom is very important to me. And also having Christian music in the background and gentle voices are really important to me. And then also the chocolate pudding and ginger ale is very important to me because, I mean, I love to eat and drink. So bring those all day and I'll be happy. So some ways to support Shelby. I have my disease on here, SCAH, spinocerebellar ataxia. It affects my balance, my eye coordination, and speech. So I need help not to fall. So I think that's very important for physicians and doctors and nurses to know about me, because your disability is you. It does not define you, but it's you. God gave you that gift and he made it special, and you are special. But this is very important for nurses to know. And also be patient with me while I process things. I too have an intellectual disability, and the cells in my cerebellum that atrophied are time and math. And so when you talk to me about time and math, I need some time to process that because it's not there. So maybe say it differently to me or just give me some time. And also, I like to be clean. That's a way to support me, is to make sure I'm clean and help me feel safe. That's a great way to support me. So that's a little bit about me. On the back, once again, I would have my passport. So my emergency contact, my information on the left side. Then you would have your health conditions, medication, and allergies. And then once again, I would check off if I had a DNR or advance directive. Then also, I would check off current COVID symptoms, like if I had a temperature over 100.4, I would check that off and put the time and date it started. And also a dry cough, a nasal congestion, sore throat, etc. And then you go over to the right and it's the risk factors, check all that apply. So I know in my mind, if I was going into the hospital, I would check off neurological disorder, because that is what happened in my brain when my cells atrophied. And I have an intellectual disability. So I would want doctors and nurses to know about that. And also in my family, heart disease is something that's in my family. So whatever is in your family that you know of, you should go ahead and check that off too, because you never know if they have to do tests or something. All right, how can you make a one-page profile? I just want to say something really quick to you guys that I didn't say in the beginning. I know, which I don't know, this is an assumption of me, but I know when I register for events and I see pictures of the speakers, I'm like, oh, sorry. I say, well, oh, they're just little kids. They don't have any background knowledge of what they're talking about. I don't know if they're gonna be true or if I should listen to them. But I've been there. I've been in your shoes. I've had failures in life. I continue to have failures in life every day. I've been in situations where I haven't been heard when people are talking around me. I've been in situations where I'm not seen. I feel like I'm not seen. I feel like I'm just there. I'm just another branch on the tree. That's what I feel like. So I want you to know, listen to this today, because I have been there. I want to think I have the knowledge. I'm still learning every single day, but I've been in your shoes. So listen to what I have to say, please, because this is very important. All right, I'll jump off my bandwagon. So this is the one-page blank sheet that Cinda has sent you, and I hope you fill it out. If you have one to share today with me, please share it with us, because I love when other people share their plans with me. So I want you specifically to move from the left to right. So at the beginning, I would love for you to put what people like and admire about you. So what can people see that are great things about you? And then also, I would highly encourage you to insert a photo of you, because I think it's very important to have that intimacy and that front row look at, okay, who is this plan about? And then we move on to what's important to you. So what matters to you? What's important to you? What makes you happy? Maybe it's a comfort food. Maybe it's a blanket that you take with you everywhere. And then at the bottom, how to best support you. So think of, given the purpose of this one-page plan, think of ways that people can support you. And the reason I'm saying to do the first two at the top is because sometimes when people do the first two, then they think, oh, well, I might need help making this happen. Or I might need someone with me to do this. And those are ways people can support you. So that's why I encourage you to move from the left to right. All right, so what is happening with this little boy in this picture? Maybe take a few minutes and unmute yourself or put in the chat box what you think is going on with this little boy.
Let's have people use the chat box, okay? That makes it easier, and I'll read off what people think, okay?
Hey, I think he's been bullied or something, ma'am.
Maybe.
He's frustrated. He's mad and upset. He looks upset.
Very good. Yeah.
Worried, confused, or I'm sorry, concerned. Worried and concerned. He looks ticked off. Somebody said you'd have to ask him. Angry. Okay.
Very good. So very good, everyone. Thank you for sharing. This is the reason he made that face. So all of those answers that you just said are great, but they are assumptions. They are assumptions to what really happened. And I love the answer, just ask him. Maybe he just needs somebody to talk to, and he will tell you what's going on and what made him upset. But looking at his face, he might be mad, or he might be really sad and wanting to cry. If you see the way his arms are crossed, that is another assumption that he's angry or sad. But if this little boy was to go into the hospital and he had a mask on and the doctors could only see his eyes, they would say, well, there's just a mad little kid in that room. We're not going to treat him. And that's not right, because look, she's making fun of him. He's really upset. He might have lots of internal issues going on. So maybe just talk to him and try not to assume. So this is why we put this one-page plan together, is so people don't assume things about you. So that's why it's very important. All right, so getting started to do your one-page plan. Who knows the answers to all of the questions, and whose input do you need? This is your one-page plan, and you know yourself better than anybody. So you think of those people who support you. You think of what's important to you. You think of ways people can support you. This is all about you. This is the time you get to shine. You get to tell people what you want. If they're not doing something you don't like, then say, hey, that's not working for me. Let me tell you what's gonna work for me. So this is all about you. And this is the like and admire part. I love this because what I do in my trainings with other individuals, we have a section called Great Things, and that's the same thing. What do people like and admire about you? So they all get to walk around the room and write on people's pages of what they like and admire about them. What are they good at? What do people praise you for? What do people say your good qualities are? And so I just think this is very important, because when you do get down and discouraged, and I know I've been down and discouraged, looking at what people say about you, they might say you're a hard worker, you're very determined. It makes you happy, because not only do you think those things of yourself, but other people think those things of yourself. And that is very important. All right, what's important to you? This is when you get to talk about what you like to do to have fun. Who do you like to have fun with? What helps you feel better when you're sick? Maybe a cup of soup, maybe ice cream. Ice cream always makes me feel better when I'm sick. So that's important to me. What helps you wind down? What helps you relax? And then what helps you feel valued? So when I feel valued, people tell me I do a good job, and that just makes me feel good. So being valued can be very important to you also. So think of those things. And then what does a good support look like? Describe the best way for staff to communicate with you. Maybe you want them to smile when they talk to you, which I know if people don't smile at me, then I don't know how they're communicating with me. So I love to see people's smiles. And also describe how staff can help you feel less anxious or uncomfortable, or calm or safe. So maybe they can bring you a blanket, maybe they can get you a stuffed animal, whatever you think you need. Explain how you might express pain too. So maybe if you're screaming bloody murder, that needs to go on your plan. When I scream, I need medicine. Or when I scream, I'm in pain. So describe those ways people can support you in that. And include how you prefer to take medications. I know when I was little, I had so much trouble with liquid medication. It made me sick to my stomach, and it just was really hard. So at a very young age, I learned to take pills, to swallow pills. And so now all my prescriptions, I have to have pills. I can't do liquids. And maybe you're different. So that needs to go on ways people can support you. So review your notes after you make a one-page plan. Look for important things staff need to know. What are maybe the 4, 5, or 6 things that people need to know that make you happy, make you comforted, and then put those things in there. And also use simple, plain language. I don't like big words because I don't understand big words. I don't use big words in my vocabulary. So if you like to have people be simple with you and straight to the point, then use simple language when you're talking in your plan. And also keep the statements brief. don't write complete sentences if you don't feel like you want to. Once again, this plan is yours. You're going to be taking it with you, and it's what you want. So write whatever you want, just make it straight to the point. And then when it's done, I have found this very useful. Read it out loud and see if it makes sense to you. See if you need to go back to your plan and add 1 or 2 or 4 things to your plan. But read it out loud, that's helpful. And then share the first draft with the person who you choose. Know that you don't have to share this plan with everybody. You get to choose who you share this plan with, and also get feedback for your plan and maybe make edits. I know when I was doing my plan, I got feedback from Jeff Garrison Tate, and I went back and I was like, oh, well, he's right. Maybe I should add this. So I'm like, maybe I don't want to add that, and remove it. So just getting feedback's very helpful too. And also add a picture of yourself. With today's society, I know that we wear masks, and most of the time we don't know you're smiling when you have your mask on because we can't see it. So I think a picture says it all when they can see your whole face. Also include that health passport on the back, and then print it off and maybe make 10, 15, 20 copies, whatever is suitable for you, because it's really important to have one. So here's just different tips on how to print it, and I think it would be a good idea maybe to have one in the hospital room with you, maybe one on the door, maybe one at the nurse's station, and also just have one with you. So maybe if they lose them, then you would have it. So make several copies. That's what I would say. And this is what it should look like. So here's my grandmother's one-page profile. It would be on the front. And then directly on the back, you would have your passport. And it's called a passport because we take passports with us when we travel, when we go places, and they contain information about where you've been. So that this is kind of like that. Although it doesn't contain information about where you've been, it contains your information. So that's why we use passport. So once again, remember your one-page profile and then passport directly on the back. So before I move on, and we end 10 minutes early so people can share, I want to let you guys know that I was real with you Monday and today. And I love sharing my story. I love sharing what I do, but it's difficult talking about yourself. But I want you to know, every single one of you here, you have a voice. You stand up for what you want, and don't let people run all over you. I've had people do it all my life, and I'm finally standing up for myself. So don't wait like I did. So that's it. I'll get off my bandwagon. So any more information, please contact Cinda Green. Once again, I highly encourage you, if you have any questions, please, please, please use the chat box. I want to answer as many questions as possible. So thank you again to these wonderful guys and ladies who put this on. And let's hear what you have to share. Be real with me.
Thank you so much, Shelby. Another great presentation. So I have not seen any emails of people who are interested in sharing their one-page profile, but I have one from yesterday, our session yesterday. Would you like for me to share that?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cindy, would you mind just kind of coming in and just talking a little bit about your one-page profile?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
So my name's Cindy Burrow, and I have a son who has a developmental disability. And I've been attending all these presentations and I've been blown away. I did a one-pager for myself, and it was a really good learning experience. And then in the session yesterday, I watched some other folks share theirs and realized that there were a lot of things. Shelby, you mentioned this. There were a lot of things I didn't think about. But when I looked at somebody else's, I thought, oh, I should have probably put that in. So I'll just go over what I have and then what I wish I had put in. So for me, what people like and admire about me is that I have a good sense of humor. I'm creative and crafty, and I'm a caring friend. Something that's important to me is just knowing that my son is safe and happy. So my son and I have a really strong bond, and it's important for me to feel connected to him, and it's important for him to feel connected to me. So if I were, in a hospital, he probably would not be able to come see me. So that would be important, to just know that he's okay. It's important to me to be involved in decisions about myself. I don't like it when doctors and nurses talk about me like I'm not in the room, and it makes me angry, and I usually show that. And it's important for me to have my phone nearby. It kind of connects me to everything, to my family and friends, and also to work. To support me, speak clearly and directly. I don't like chit chat, and I don't like it when people talk around things, especially if they're unpleasant things, which sometimes, when you're talking to a doctor or a nurse or a medical professional, if they have news that's not great or it's something uncomfortable to talk about, they won't come out and say it, and that drives me crazy. So be direct with me. And of course, have an outlet charger and phone nearby me. And just make sure that I can talk to and see my son when he needs me. And something that someone brought up yesterday, and Shelby, you also made me think even further. So I have an autoimmune disorder, and I'm on a very restricted diet. And it didn't even occur to me to put that in there, but I should have, because that would be very important, especially for the hospital cafeteria. But then the other thing that Shelby mentioned was foods that bring you comfort. Didn't think about that either, and I should have. So I would probably put in here, dark chocolate by the pound, please. And that would be very helpful to me. Let's see. Oh, there's a pop-up, so I can't see the for a good match section. Cindy, can you scroll? Thank you. Oh, so for me, a good match is somebody who's direct and someone who doesn't talk too much and someone who doesn't talk down to me. And then I just put some pictures in there of my husband and my son, just to kind of, I think that would be nice too, to, if you have this in your hospital room, then you already have pictures of the people who are important to you, and you can look at them at any time. So that was my one pager.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Cindy.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Cindy. That's
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Does anyone have any comments, thoughts, kind of jogged something that you're like, oh, I should put that on a one-page profile? We would love to hear from you. We've also added a link to an evaluation in the chat box. We would love for you to fill that out. And we are hoping to do additional presentations like this after the first of the year. pending funding. So watch for more to come.
That's what, tell them what you want to say. Excuse me. She wants to say something. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
Go ahead.
How you can go to get your courses for college?
How did I go to get them?
Yes.
I just talked with a guidance counselor at college, and he showed me which courses I needed to take. I also took a test before getting into college since I didn't take the dual credit. And so that told me which classes to take also.
Tell them what you want to learn.
I want to learn how to sign language.
Sign language, yes, I would love that. My grandmother actually taught sign language.
Really?
Yeah, so I hope you learn it. I'm sorry I can't teach you, but
I
you could teach me.
only knew a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes.
I think we might have someone that we're hiring maybe to come and teach us some sign language. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can find someone.
Yeah, I think we'll have somebody, maybe. Yeah, I think she's checking it out.
That's good.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Shelby,
Yes.
this is Pat.
Hi, Pat.
Do you have something to say?
Hey, Shelby, I signed up for a position on the VIA Board of Trustees. I hope they can vote for.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, Pat.
I hope City Council picks me. It has to go to the City
Yeah.
Council.
I hope so. I'm sure they will. Yeah.
I'll give you show and tell, Shelby.
Yes. Thank you, Pat.
You done?
I'm done.
Thanks, Shelby.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, okay. Thank you for the questions, and Cindy, thanks for sharing your one-page description again. I want to thank Shelby especially today. This is the end of our series, and as Cinda said, we hope that we will be able to continue after the first of the year, and we'll be focusing on parents and siblings, children in foster care, nursing facilities, state-supported living centers. So we're really hoping to get to more folks that may really need to know more about putting together a one-page description so that they can let people around them know what's important to them and what supports they need. And as Cinda mentioned a minute ago, we have a evaluation in here. We really appreciate it if you take a minute, let us know what we can do better next time. And again, I want to thank each of you for your time carving that out today to be with us. And I wish each of you a wonderful holiday and new year, getting ready to move away from 2020 and into 21. So y'all take care, and thanks again.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, everybody. We hope to see you next year.
Thank you.
Take care.